Hello and welcome back to Your Story with Bert. Today I have the honor of having Garrett Linker here with me to talk about life. And I met Garrett back a few years ago when he ran for school board the first time.
2022, I think.
22, okay. Yeah. A neighbor referred me to him and I visited with him, picked his brain and said, of course, I'll support you wholeheartedly for school board. And he's running again. And I said, well, come by and talk about school board and talk about life and what you do when you're not everywhere, all over the world for Prosper ISD. Every time I turn around, Garrett's there. Like example, I was at a football game with my senior who's in the band, and I get a photo from Garrett because he went to watch my son who's in theater, and I'm like, I wasn't able to make it that day, and I'm like, wait, I want to listen to this photo. Yeah. But it was awesome because you're always there. Garrett, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. What's your story? What brings you to this part of the world? And pull your mic a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
Hold it down a little bit more.
So my original story, like going back several years. Yeah, well, just kind of a recap for people that I don't know or that don't know me. My family and I moved to Texas in January of 21. COVID kind of created that opportunity for our family to relocate. We had always wanted to be out here, but challenges with job and having babies and all that, it made it hard to come when we wanted to back in 2013. But COVID really changed a whole lot of really everything, but for me personally and my job, it created that ability for us to be able to move. So we moved to Texas in January of 21, and it's been the best decision we've ever made. Fast forward a year later, decided to run for school board, which was probably unusual because I had only been here for a year at that time, and typically that's not how things go in Prosper ISD. But I thought that because we moved here for the schools, what better way to try to give back? There were 3 seats that were up, and I thought I had, a skill set that, could make me a valuable asset to the district. And it worked out, although it was a squeaker.
Yeah, it was. And we got everyone their dog to, and registered dogs to vote, to go and to vote for you. We're calling the day up going, you need to go vote for Linker. Just trust me. Yeah, and I've had people call me since then going, I had no idea. And he's been great. I'm like, of course he has. I'm like, trust me, come on. Hello, I know. Yeah. And I had people texting me going, you can't vote for the Californian. He's there to sandbag. I'm like, just because you're in California doesn't mean you're a bad person. We love you, Californians, as long as you're not missionaries and you're refugees. But yeah. So what were the schools like in California?
They really weren't bad. We were in, it was a small town, kind of similar to Prosper. But the difference is that in California, whereas in Texas, a lot of local control is there for our schools, and there's a lot more community involvement, and they're independent school districts. In California, they're unified school districts. And so
how is that different?
It's a lot of top-down in terms of regulation, and basically what the state tells you have to do, you have to do. And so that was one thing. We were concerned about what the educational opportunities would look like for our kids. Fast forward, 10, 15 years. At that time, my oldest was in kindergarten. So I knew this was going to be, a 15 plus year investment for their school. And so we had that concern, but also the cost of living in California was just getting crazier and crazier. And it's very expensive now everywhere, but it just was a lot of those types of things. And then we really felt like Texas was going to feel like home, and we risked everything. Honestly, we moved out here knowing one family, but we really felt that was, what the Lord was calling us to do. And we kind of felt like those doors were opening, and we walked through, and it's been the best thing that we've ever done. For business, for family, for community, all of the above.
So tell me about your business. So you left a job there, or did you have your own business in California?
I worked for my dad, doing similar to what I'm doing now, financial services, long-term care planning. And I had worked with my dad since 2008, right out of college. Started at kind of the worst time going into financial services with the crash in 2008. But in working with him, I learned a lot and really enjoyed what I was doing. But working for family presents challenges. And then, of course, with us moving to Texas, my dad and I had talked, and, we thought it was going to be the best thing if I just started my own practice out here. And all my clients came with me. And so it's been good. But yeah, we do financial planning, long-term care planning for those that are dealing with a high level of care need, like skilled nursing, assisted living, things of that nature.
Interesting. So you've enjoyed that industry?
I do. It's very
What do you like
rewarding.
about
Every client's situation is different, and so being able to put together a plan to put them on, a path of confidence, whether it's getting ready to, approach retirement, whether it's a family that calls in and their loved one has found themselves in a nursing home and $10,000 a month, how are they going to pay for this? Being able to take that situation and put in place some strategies or planning methods so that they have some peace of mind from a financial perspective, and then their focus can really be on their loved one. And the two really work well together. So the financial planning we do for anybody, but that long-term care side is really for our seniors that have a high level of care that they're needing. And I absolutely love what we do.
All the baby boomers getting older.
Yes,
There's a lot of clients out there. So getting your name out here, has it been hard? Has it been
It was really hard, yeah. Because again, moving out here, we didn't know anybody, and so we literally, started the business development from ground up, and so that was going out and making relationships and getting involved in groups like the Chamber and Rotary and different networking events over the Metroplex, and we really grew it organically. And so you start out with, that first case, and if you do a great job, then now you've got a relationship, and they'll continue to work with you. Where it did help a lot is that my clients in California all came with me.
Oh, that's nice.
So it kind of created a little bit of a transition time. So it wasn't like we were just completely starting out with nothing. And that first year, most of our business was still in California. By the second year, it was about 50-50. And now most of our business comes from Texas. And so looking back at how that's all worked in just, 4 years, it's crazy.
So do you have license in California and Texas, or how does that work? Or is that federal?
Yeah, so you've got federal licenses for financial planning, your securities licenses, and then you've got state insurance licenses. Okay. So, yep.
So life and health, or what kind of
life and health? Yep, in any state that we're working. And then the securities licenses are federal. You just have to add the state registration.
Any other states besides California and Texas, or is that
lots? Yeah,
lots.
I've got about 15 to 20 states we work in. Yeah.
Do you fly to those people, or is it Zoom, or just all
so
paper?
If a client has an address in another state, I have to be registered there.
Okay.
So no, we're not. For one client that's in Pennsylvania, I'm not flying to Pennsylvania typically. But with the nature of how things are virtually and talking on the phone and Zoom and all that, my clients are fine.
Does your wife work with you, or does she?
She runs the books and keeps me on track.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, with the school board, and then now definitely with the campaign. I'll talk to her about things and be like, "Hey, I did this today," or I'm going on a podcast with Bert tomorrow, and she's like, "Are you gonna do your real job too?"
I'm like, what real job?
Yeah, I mean that's the challenge of being self-employed is that when you're not working, there's where's the money coming from? So that's been my biggest challenge the last 3 years is balancing my work life with all the commitments with school board. And then obviously my family, trying to make sure that I'm there as much as I can be. I mean, you can't be out serving everybody else's families and then neglect yours.
You give so much time to the school board and to the schools and the kids. And as I said earlier, every time I turn around, you're at an event, which is great. And because you care for the kids.
Absolutely.
And you care for the staff and this amazing district. But I'm always so the fact that when I heard someone was running against you, I'm like, what in the world for?
Well,
it's crazy to me.
When I first decided to run, I made a commitment to the voters, but then also made a commitment to myself that I wanted to be a trustee that was there and was present and that supported the community and that the community felt supported by. And so it's important to me, regardless of whether it's campaign season or not, to be there and to show up so people know that the Board of Trustees cares. We're not just some symbolic ceremonial type role. We're actually we're your neighbors. We're your friends. We're your business owners. And we want to have a hands-on, feel for what we're doing. And so showing up to whether it's an arts event or athletics or theater, like, when I saw your son, I think that's important for the community to feel like the school board cares. But I absolutely love it. I mean, and a lot of times I'll take my family, we'll go to a baseball game or, whatever it might be. And then, I love going in the mornings and greeting kids as they're coming to school and try to hit as many of the elementary schools as I can. Because it just starts out your day right.
It does.
All the kids that are happy in the morning and teachers and so I absolutely love it. I could certainly scale back and it would probably make things easier, in terms of time commitment, but I committed to serving a particular way, and that's what's important to me, and that's why I do it.
Well, obviously, the people who are supporting you and backing your re-election campaign, former school board members, major community event leaders, and they're all backing you 100%, which is like, I didn't think I love him, but I love him. So it's one of those, you are there, and it's been a pleasure to see. Well, you keep up your word. You said you do that, and you did that. And a lot of people have platitudes when running for office, and then they get busy in life. And it's hard to not be busy in life. Yeah,
I tried to do what I said, and I think if you look at the support that our campaign has this time around, it looks and it feels different.
It does.
My first campaign, I was new to Prosper ISD, and I didn't have a lot of established relationships, and so really anybody that wanted to be part of the movement or whatever you want to call it, I was thrilled to have the support. And, in building that, we had a lot of newer type relationships because, people that hadn't been here for a long time, they were eager to see someone that was also new to the district, serve on the board. And so our first coalition was mostly newer residents. And then over the last 3 years, I've worked really hard to try to build relationships. And while we still have a lot of that original coalition, if we look now at our support, we've got namesakes, people that have their names on our buildings. These are people that have been in Prosper for decades. We've got teachers, we've got administrators, former trustees, state elected reps, board members with the Education Foundation and the Chamber. And you look, and it's such a more diverse group of people. And then politically speaking too, people on all different political backgrounds are supporting us, because what we're doing is we're keeping the issue that's important to Prosper ISD, and that's taking care of our kids and teachers.
What do you see as a challenge coming forward? Assuming you win, what do you see as a challenge moving forward next year? Or is it the same old? Is it?
Well, I think there's a same old to an extent, and that is just because our district is adding, 3,000 kids a year. When I moved here in 21, we had low 20,000s of students, and now we're at 32,000. We're opening up 4 schools this fall, all west of the tollway.
We got high school, middle school, and 2 elementary.
2 elementaries, yeah. So that always is probably going to be the forefront of what we're focused on, making sure that our buildings have enough capacity to have these kids and students, making sure we have enough teachers. The pool of teachers that want to go into this profession is shrinking. Mm-hmm. So you've got that dynamic. You also have challenges with kind of the unknown with what's going to happen with state funding. A lot of people see their property tax bill and they think we have all the money in the world, but the reality is that's not the case. And so we're hoping that if the state can increase, some of the funding, like the basic allotment, close some of the funding gaps, increase teacher salaries, that will allow us to stay competitive. Every year that I've been on the board, we've been able to give a raise to our teachers. We've been able to give bonuses. And last year we gave the biggest raise we've given. It was 3.5%. I mean, it's still not enough, and we can't ever pay them truly what they need.
For sure.
But that is my biggest worry, is that if we don't get some additional changes with how the funding process works, my fear is how are we going to be able to stay competitive when you've got other districts all facing the same challenge. And then certainly financial responsibility and financial stewardship. Our bond projects are a huge cost, and always building new schools. And so having someone that understands how school finance works, having someone that has that financial expertise, I think is really crucial. So I think that's going to pose an additional challenge. And so I would say those are probably the 2 big things that I'm focusing on right now.
Okay. What are you doing for the next election day? Is May
3rd.
May 3rd. Gosh.
Saturday, May 3rd.
Less than 2 months.
Yeah. Early voting will open on April 22nd.
Okay.
Through the 29th. And then, election day is May 3rd. So we're getting close to spring break, and then it's going to be pedal to metal for the last couple weeks.
You doing meet and greets? Are you knocking on doors? What's your...
All the above.
All the above, yeah.
Yeah, we had our campaign kickoff a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was out of town.
Yeah, I know. What happened there?
At a volleyball tournament in another state.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't be 2 places at once. It's hard. I've tried.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It was a great turnout. Really energized us. And so now we'll have meet and greets. We're going to get ready to release those dates. We'll have them, in as many communities as we can. but already starting to block walk. I last weekend hit 450 houses, and we've got a big team helping me block walk. Yeah, but man, my feet hurt. Yeah, getting back into it for the first time, I feel like you're at Disneyland
walking a marathon.
Yeah, but no rides,
no rides, no golf cart. Someone will hop on and go to the next house.
No.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So you're assuming you win. Do you want to do it more than 3 more years, or take?
I don't know.
Time to each year you'll figure it out.
Yeah. This cycle even was a conversation. I mean, I love serving.
Yeah.
And I had planned to run again, but when it came down to it, it was a conversation my wife and I had to have, because it takes so much time away from the business, from family, and it's stressful. You know, we're dealing with a lot of things that when it's good, it's great, but we've had some hard times through the last 3 years, and it really does take a toll on us. And I that's one
hard
thing
times
I wish.
Meaning what? Meaning
just
family life?
No, I mean things that we've dealt with in the district. When things in the district happen that are tough, and sometimes the public knows about it, and sometimes it's things that we just deal with internally. It's hard, and you know we carry that, and I think that's something that maybe people don't fully understand. So when my wife and I were discussing whether or not to do this, we had to have a conversation, and you know, it was, are we going to commit to doing this again? You know, thinking about how it's impacted the family. There's been positive things though as well.
Sure.
And then I talked to my kids, and basically,
what do they say?
Yeah, they love it. So we quickly made the decision that we were going to do it again, but we did need to talk through it. And I just feel like there's unfinished, I don't know, unfinished business, if you would say it that way. I just feel like I'm not done yet. I absolutely love serving this community, and I'm going to do it at least one more term, and then you know, we'll reevaluate after that and see what things look like if I'm blessed enough to be reelected.
For sure. Well, I'm praying that you will be, and we'll do what I can.
I feel good.
You should feel good. As you said earlier, the people know who you are now.
Yeah.
And it's not the unknown. The people who wouldn't have backed you the first time will wholeheartedly back you this time, because you did what you said you were going to do. Yeah. And that says a lot. Do you enjoy the running part? Or not as much as the serving part?
The first campaign was a lot of fun. It was an open seat, so I honestly had no expectations of, you know, I knew it was going to be a grind, and you were going to have to work hard, and I had to meet thousands of people because nobody knew me.
Yep.
So that part was really fun, and I did enjoy it. This time, you know, I was hoping not to have to run another super competitive campaign. I mean, it's expensive and it takes a lot of time, but I do enjoy it. I think spending time with families and just catching up on what's important to them, and you know, maybe things that we can do even better as a district. I think when you're up for re-election, and if you have an opponent, it allows that ability and actually forces you to get back out there and re-engage with the community.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of always was engaging with the community, so that part's not a lot different. But trying to bring in new supporters and people that maybe didn't support me the first time, that have approached and said, "Hey, you know, I didn't vote for you the first time, but I appreciate how you've served, and I think I would like to vote for you this time, but I have some questions." I love that, because you know, you're changing minds and through your actions showing people where your heart really is. So I do enjoy that. The balancing the time is always a challenge.
When you answer questions from people, does it go through committee, or do you do it yourself?
What do you mean?
No, I'm like, sometimes it seems like some other school boards, not necessarily Prosper, but they're like, here, answer it this way.
Oh.
Are you?
No, I've always just spoken from the heart, and you know, talked to people if they wanted to talk. Obviously, we have things that have to be confidential at times, and I always keep that in mind. But no, I'm, you know, if a constituent wants to talk to me, I'm going to talk to them, because we are the only elected official in the public school Prosper ISD type role that they can access. Of course, they can go to their teachers and their principals, and they should. And a lot of times, that's what we will tell them. You know, if someone calls and has an issue with something that happened on a campus, that's not something for the school board to deal with, at least not at that time. So we'll refer them back to their teacher or their principal. Yeah. But people that, you know, want to talk about anything related to the district, good or bad, I think it is our job to listen to them and to hear them out. And then if we can help them, great. If we need to redirect them somewhere else, then we will.
Do you have an office in the admin? Do you have like a room, or is it no?
Nope.
So
yep. So
we're meeting coffee, or
we're meeting at coffee shops. We're meeting at their home. I have an office. They can come to my office, where I do my business, but I don't have a school board office.
How do people contact you to support you for questions? Is it email? Do they call you? How do
A lot of different ways. So my website is probably the best.
Which is what?
Garrett for Prosper.
The number 4?
Nope. GARRETTFOR prosper.com.
Okay. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. There's a contact us box where they can reach out and it'll send me an email.
Okay.
They can also email me, garrettforprosper@gmail.com.
Okay.
You can Facebook message me. You can call me, text me, all the above. I'm pretty easy to find.
How about for your non-Prosper ISD business side of things? How do people find you for your work and for their loved one who needs help?
Yeah, a lot of that comes from just word of mouth referrals from people we've helped. But if you Google financial advisor, long-term care, Prosper, I think we come up.
Okay.
Or we're one of the couple that'll however Google algorithms work. But Prosper Financial Services
Is the
LLC.com. Yeah.
Okay. Prosper Financial Services LLC.com.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yeah.
So what is for the next month and a half? A lot of block walking, you said, a lot of knocking on doors, wearing out shoes.
Yep.
Going to meet and greets that you'll have on your GarrettForProsper.com.
Yeah, we've got some coming up in Star Trail, Light Farms, a couple other neighborhoods that we'll post as soon as it's finalized. But yeah, for me, what I'm focusing on is hitting as many houses as I can, reaching as many neighborhoods as I can. We're doing a lot of messaging on Facebook. So, we're going to be releasing videos and trying to answer questions that a lot of people have, things that are important to me. Why am I running again? What are my thoughts on, vouchers are a big topic right now. So trying to get as much information out as I can. But there's also a forum that'll be coming up. I think it's April 16th at 6 p.m. at the stadium, where all the candidates will be there. And that's typically hosted by the chamber. So for people that want to be engaged in this election, there'll be plenty of opportunities to learn about the candidates. But the biggest challenge is getting them engaged because turnout for these municipal elections is always really low.
So whoever gets the turnout wins.
Pretty much. And, people will sometimes think, well, my vote doesn't count or, it doesn't matter. My first election in 2022, I won by, do you remember how much? 19.
Yeah, I was going to say 16. It's 19.
19 votes. And so
that was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about that, there was about 5,000 people that voted, which is still so low compared to the registered voters. But when you take all of those 5,000 votes, 19 was the decider,
which is crazy.
So your vote absolutely, especially in these elections, count, and be part of it. Our role on the school board arguably will impact our community more than pretty much any other elected office. Town council also. Yeah. But the higher you go, the less some of those decisions directly impact. And so that's what I always try to get across is that we set your tax rate. We're making policy that is impacting the most important thing for you, which is your kids. So get engaged.
Are you supporting others in the race? Is that public or? Yeah,
I mean, I'm focusing on my race. I'm not running as a ticket with anybody else. I know some other people are doing that. That said, I am supporting my fellow trustees, the incumbents. I think they've done a great job. And, people in Prosper always say you don't take out an incumbent if they've done a good job. But yeah, I mean, some people say that.
Just like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I think there's 3 of us up this cycle, myself, Kelly Cavender, and Jordan Dial. Jordan got the lucky straw and didn't have an opponent.
Which was nice.
No, I'm happy for him.
I know both of them. I know Jordan better.
Yeah, but they're both great guys, and, I think they deserve to be reelected.
Next 10 years, what are your hopes for Prosper ISD, and what are you thinking?
Well, within 10 years, we should be, if not completely built out, pretty much close to built out. And so I think the focus 10 years from now is going to look a lot different. Right now, we're in that growth stage. So we are adding students constantly. We're adding buildings constantly. I think something that everybody is slightly concerned about, or at least mindful of, is that with schools like in Frisco and Plano and other areas that we're seeing starting to close campuses due to declining enrollment. I think that's something that we think about. I don't think that would happen that quickly, but as our enrollment slows down, which it will once we're built out, the focus is, how we're going to sustain that. And I think, to administration's credit, they have made some adjustments now on how they're building campuses to try to limit the overbuilding and then excess buildings we may not need.
What do you mean by that?
So our middle schools were a story and a half up until Jones Middle School opened this year.
Story and a half meaning how tall they are?
Yeah, so 1.5. So Jones was the first middle school that was truly 2 levels. Okay. So 2 full levels. That created more ability for more students, now at 1,500 instead of 1,200. And so by building our middle schools now a little bit bigger, we're hoping that we'll be able to shave off at least one school, on the overall build out plan.
Gotcha.
Which will save a ton of money.
How many were they planning to build out middle schools?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I can't remember right how many middle schools.
Is it 5?
So let's see. We've got Reynolds and Rogers. We've got Hayes and Rushing, Jones, so and 5. Then Mosley will open in the fall.
Where's Mosley?
Will be 6. Mosley is just north of Winsong.
Oh, that's a middle school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the following year we will open.
Oh, the one on Fish Trap? Not Fish Trap. Becomes Frontier. Is it North Parvin? Is that the one?
It's over in that area.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where Mosley is.
Okay.
Yep. And then the following year we will open Dr. Drew Watkins. And
where's that?
Jim Bridges. Watkins will be Legacy Gardens area, so just north of Star Trail.
Okay.
Jim Bridges Middle School will be over close to Mustang Lakes.
Oh, gotcha.
So that'll be 7 and 8 the following year.
So that's middle school, or these elementary
schools?
Okay.
Yeah. And then elementaries, we're opening up.
There's one just north of Star Trail.
19 is Jana Thompson. That's Legacy Gardens.
Okay.
20 is Virgie Smotherman, which is Mosaic, just a little bit to the west.
That's crazy.
Where that will be. Yeah.
Do you not know offhand how many total build-out schools?
I do not.
That's
yeah.
What's your magic?
Lots more
crystal
elementaries,
yes.
More middle schools. High schools, they've talked about possibly 6.
5A, probably 5A schools.
I
6A?
don't know. I think it just depends on what the size of, how the growth continues. I don't know all those answers. I don't think they know the answers yet either.
Okay. So what have you learned from other districts like a Frisco, or what is it? Are you learning what not to do?
Well, I mean, a lot of that had already been kind of established by the time I got on the board. We tend to build our schools bigger, so we have less. Frisco kind of goes with a smaller model. They also have a specific CTE center, whereas all of our high schools kind of serve as a CTE hub, so we don't have a true CTE center. All of our high schools act in that capacity. So it's just a different plan that the districts have. And I think our plan is good. I think it will hopefully prevent us from having to close schools down the road because we're building them, a bit bigger rather than having a ton that potentially could lose enrollment.
I remember reading about some school districts turning their elementaries into like assisted living centers.
I've heard that
which
too.
Is maybe in Plano, but I'm like, I guess it makes sense. You can put a restroom in every one of the classrooms, and then you have your own apartments. But so Prosper's trying to plan to not have to do that.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, but I think that's something everybody worries about because you never know what's going to happen. But one thing that's true is we have to build now because we, as it is, almost every one of our schools is over capacity,
which is crazy. Richland will be pretty under capacity at the start?
It'll start lower.
Like kind of like 3A or 4A or what? How big?
I think 5.
You think it'll be a 5A to start off with?
Either 4 or 5. I think 5, yeah. Don't quote me on that.
No.
But Walnut Grove opened smaller the first year.
Yes.
And so it'll be similar to that. It will provide a lot of relief to Prosper High, though. I mean, Prosper High's been desperate to reduce down. They've been, 36, 7, 800 kids. So Richland will help a lot with getting those numbers down. And then, the first year, it's going to be you're opening a brand new campus. You're developing all the programs. I mean, Dr. Croy, though, he's killing it with his hires so far.
He seems good.
And then, by year 2, it'll be, a more familiar looking type Prosper ISD size school. And then probably by the 3rd year, it'll be full just like everybody else.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being on the board? You already said it, but what is it?
Yeah, I mean, our kids and teachers, it's hard to beat that. Our at the events that I have had the pleasure of going to over the last 3 years, just seeing the caliber of what these kids do, whether it's athletics, whether it's arts, whether it's PCIS. I saw your other boy. Just they're so talented, and I think the output of what we do in this district and what our kids are capable of doing and the opportunities they have, I think that's probably my favorite. But then also our educators. I mean, I'm biased because this is where we are, but I truly think our educators are the best, and
they're great.
We've got great campus administrators, and but I think what maybe sets us apart, separate from just saying our kids and teachers are great, is the community is really supportive of the district. And I think that's a unique thing with Prosper. We have, if you look at our nonprofits, we have so many nonprofits for a pretty small town.
That's true.
Which really shows our community spirit is to give back and to help and support. And so I think that's what makes our district a special place. And I mean, it's why I love serving as much as I do.
And you picked Prosper for the school district? Is that why you picked it? And
we did.
You look at all over Texas trying to figure out where to go? Did you do homework?
We looked at Frisco. We looked at McKinney. Plano, we didn't really look at. We had looked at in 2013 when we were first thinking about moving, but it was really Frisco, McKinney, Prosper. But Prosper really stood out, and it was still kind of the smaller town feel then. It's grown a lot since, since I've moved here. But yeah, it was really the school district. It wasn't our restaurants or anything. Although we're getting good restaurants now.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope people support you, obviously, as I will.
Yeah.
And appreciate you being on the board. I appreciate your willingness to actually serve.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. There's a lot of great people, but it's hard to find someone who will do it and do what they said they're going to do.
Yep.
And that proof of that is the people who are supporting you this time around that didn't last time.
I appreciate that.
It's exciting to see, and I'll look forward to celebrating with you. I look forward to encouraging everyone I know to go out who can vote, who is registered in this district, to go vote for you.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work. And
thanks. If I can just say one last thing.
Please.
I think people are asking why you over your opponent. Certainly not saying anything about my opponent, but for me, I think the value that I bring to the board is perspective and balance to the board. So we've got 7 members on our school board, right? And for a school board to be strong and for the district to be strong, you want to have a diversity of thoughts and opinions and backgrounds and skills. And I think the value that I bring in that capacity really helps to balance out and make the board overall stronger. We've got a former teacher on the board. We've got an executive on the board. We've got someone on the board who had their kids go K through 12. So we have a lot of those perspectives, which are hugely valuable. But being a newer resident of Prosper ISD and the only trustee that lives outside of that, central area of Prosper, I think brings an added value and a benefit. And so I think that is important. And then my expertise in financial services with how crazy fast we're growing, having someone that understands, I think I said this a couple minutes ago, understands finance and specifically school finance. I think that person is someone we would want to have on the board. And so take all of that plus how I've, tried to show up for our community and be there for parents and teachers and our students. That's really my closing argument. And if people agree and find value in that, then I would ask for their vote on May 3rd or during early voting. I usually vote the day of, but last time I voted early. I'm like, if I don't see you on the roster, I'm bugging you.
No, don't worry. And I'll bring friends with me too. I might drive my truck and like, get in. We're going to vote.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to force you to vote for Garrett, but they don't need to because they know you.
We don't
that's the easy part.
We don't want stinkers. We don't want.
Don't be a stinker. Vote for Linker.
There you go.
You heard it from me.
Yeah.
Garrett, thanks, man.
Appreciate
you, and I look forward to visiting with you again after this marathon. This walking marathon.
Sounds really good. Thanks for having me today.
Of course.